it up for Mr. Lavario.
Hey, what's going on, ladies? What's poppin'? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. So listen, I want to explain to y'all the reason why it's really hard for you to, find a man, right? And this is what's really going on is that I coined this sort of like final exam syndrome. I feel like women have final exam syndrome, and what does that mean, right? Now, when, let's say you were in college or high school or whatever, and you knew that you had a final exam that was going to go down. You understand? And if you were not prepared for that final exam, what happens is that you fail the test, right? And so through the whole semester, what you should have been doing was studying, doing your homework, making sure you learned all the things you needed to learn. And then once that final exam is happening, you've been studying, you've been doing all this stuff, you've been studying for that whole week or two when the final exam is about to pop off. And now if you've been studying, you're prepared to take that test and pass it, right? But what happens is that some people, what they do when it comes to the final exam is that they kind of ignore, studying, or they don't really even like look over their work. They're just like, whatever, I'll get to it when I get to it. Whatever, it's not a big deal. Who cares? It doesn't matter. And then they're like, oh shit, the final exam is in a week. It's in a couple days. And then they start skimming and just like running all over the place trying to, put all this information in their head and just trying to make it happen that way. And then they think they're going to pass the final exam, right? So the same thing happens to women in their dating lives, right? What happens is that, as you grow older, you start to say, damn, I'm in my late 30s, I'm in my early 40s, I'm in my mid 40s, and I'm still single, and I want a man now, right? But what happened is that from the time you were, 18, 19, 20, 24, 25. This is the time when you should have been studying the game, studying what you need to do as a woman in order to keep men interested in you, right? But what happened is that you've been ignoring all the things that you should have been, learning about men. And then by the time you reach, your mid 30s, early 40s, you're still single because you haven't really learned all the stuff you need to learn. And now that, you're getting up there in age, you just like, oh my God, what I need to learn what I need to do. I need to make something happen so I can get a husband. You understand? So now you're skimming and you're going all crazy trying to get all, things happening like right now because you want to, make these things happen and pass that exam. You want to get that man now. But it's going to be hard for you to get that man now because you haven't been studying what you need to study in order to get that man. You understand? The same way where you're not studying to make that to pass that final exam, you haven't been studying to get that man. Now the question is it too late for you? Right? No, it's not too late for you. It's never too late for you. Just like if you didn't study in school, right, and you failed, right? What happened was that you might have gotten left back. You have to do the class over. You have to, go back to the drawing board, but you still have a chance to pass. You still have a chance to make it happen. So this goes for your dating life. You still have a chance to get that guy and to make these things happen. But what you have to do is you have to learn what you need to learn and make it happen for you in that way. See, the thing is, it can happen, but you have to learn what you need to learn to make it happen. You have to study the game. You have to understand what you're doing wrong. You have to understand men. You have to understand what you need to do to keep men interested. You got to understand all these different things. See, the problem with, what happens with a lot of ladies is that when you're younger, especially when you're younger in your mid-20s, whatever, you get so much attention from guys, right? That, no matter what you do, you're going to get a whole bunch of attention. Even at, when you're, in your mid-30s going on 40, you still get attention from guys here and there, but it's not the same amount of attention that you were getting when you were younger. So when you were younger, you didn't realize that, damn, maybe I should know certain things to keep guys interested, because when you are ready to have a husband or a boyfriend or whatever like that, or a long-term relationship, you would know what you need to know in order to keep him around, right? But the thing is that there's been years and years of you not really studying the game, not really studying what you need to understand. And again, I want to say real quick is that when I talk about game, I'm not talking about playing games. Game is just skill and strategy. It's about what is your skill and what is your strategy to keep and to get a man and keep him. You understand? What do you do? What do you literally do to make a man want to stay with you? How do you act? How do you talk to men? How do you respond to men when they approach you? Are you responsive when guys call you? Do you show up for dates? Are you pleasant to be around? You know, like different things like that go into account of, you know, what will make a man want to stay with you. And those are things that need to be worked on. Those are things you need to pay attention to. And those are things that need to happen so that you won't be, going on 35, 40, going on 50 and still single and trying to scramble around to get a guy and wondering like, damn, why can't I get this guy? And it's because you're failing the test. You haven't studied. You haven't studied what it takes to pass it. You haven't studied what it takes to make it happen. You understand? So it's important for you to know that you need to really study the game, understand yourself, understand how it's going to be with you and men, and really work on that. So it's not too late. It's not late. You still can make it happen. The thing is that you don't want to get into the situation where you're thinking that you don't have to do anything and that you're just sitting there saying, well, you know, the reason why I'm single is because these guys aren't stepping up to the plate, or these guys are immature. I can't find a good man because all these guys just want sex and they're all cheaters and blah, 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 blah. But you're missing out on what you need to do in order to make things happen, which is why you're still single, because you're not taking responsibility on what you need to do. That's like the equivalent of me taking my final exam and I haven't studied anything and I'm like, oh well, it's because the professor hates me, and it's because they put all these questions on here that we weren't even talking about, and I don't want, they're forcing me to understand this stuff that I don't even need to know about, and blah 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 blah. And the real reason I'm not passing the test is because I didn't study. The real reason why you're not getting a man is because you're not doing what you need to do in order to learn what you need to learn to keep a man. Do you understand? So it's really important that you understand that concept, all right? So ladies, what I want you to do is I want you to click the link below and get my free audio program, 7 Highly Effective Steps to Finding and Keeping a Man, so that you can study on the game and be successful and get the man you want, all right? So I'm out of here, and remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone.
Hey, what's up? It's dating and life coach Mr. Locario. If you're tired of being single and want to find Mr. Right, then you need to join Mr. Locario's Bad Girl Membership Program. In this program, you'll receive 45 through 90-minute, easy-to-follow, step-by-step dating advice tutorials that's guaranteed to help you find the guy you've always been looking for. Go to MrLocario.com to become a Bad Girl member today. That's MrLocario.com. MrLocario.com.